So with that, we'll go through what is a grievance. And it's actually defined both in statute and regulation as pretty much anything related to your employment. So it's so general that it can address anything. If there's an issue that your members don't agree with, of course you have 20 working days to file a grievance. When in doubt, file the grievance. You can always withdraw it. There's, like I said, so many reasons to file a grievance. You should try to do it informally, see if you can resolve it informally, but remember, a formal grievance has to be filed within 20 working days. And if you miss that deadline, you don't go anywhere unless the incident or conduct reoccurs. So keep that in mind. As far as the informal resolution, you can certainly take it up with the employee supervisors to start with, and then if that doesn't cover it, doesn't resolve it, then file the grievance, and you can work your way up the chain of command. And that's the other benefit of filing the grievance, is just to put the supervisor and the chain of command on notice. So they may not even know what's going on, 9 times out of 10, I would say, and may or may not be able to address it or correct it, but at least you've started the process. So level 1 grievance is filed with the supervisor. There's actually the form, I think it's tab A in your rep manual, which I believe now has to be filed online. You should all have access to that through the Department of Corrections or Department of Personnel. And that's why the way they're accepting them now and tracking them. So it's all electronic. They finally moved into the 21st, 22nd century, whatever we're moving towards now, to keep things paperless and accessible to all employees, no matter where you are, and as long as you have as long as you have the access to the internet. So, working your way on up the grievance process. Once it is filed with the supervisor, then it goes to the warden if it's not corrected, and then up to the director. Along the way, they should meet with the employee. They should meet with a rep present so that it can be resolved. And if not, then it goes to the Employee Management Committee, which is by statute the last step of the grievance process. Unfortunately, that's not the most employee-friendly venue to end up. In fact, I think in the 10 years that I've been representing state employees, 10 plus years now, I've never had a grievance upheld by the EMC. I've heard of a few, but it's one of those things that it's a body made up. I think there's 10 people, state employees, most of them are administrators, that comprise the EMC, and then they come up with, I think, 7 to hear these grievances. And it's a majority rule, so you get most of them being supervisors that get an issue of an employee that they will usually agree to whatever the department says. So unfortunately, it's one of those things that's the way the statutes read, and that's the process that's in place. But sometimes we have to go that far and take it and see what happens. And usually if we can get a good enough case, we may get a good decision someday, but that day is not yet come. The grievance process, along with general issues related to employment, is also the appeal process for anything less than a suspension, demotion, or dismissal. So if you receive any kind of written reprimand, then that's the process as well for appealing the minor disciplinary actions, unfortunately, again. But again, it's one way to resolve things, usually along the way, rather than at the EMC, the Employee Management Committee. The grievance process, that's the end of it. There are limited reasons or abilities, grounds to take a EMC decision to district court, which is the next level. If it's something so major that we want to take it that far, or NCA wants to take it that far, that is, there is an ability to appeal an EMC decision.